is, I mean, if you use, okay, I want to show you something else as well, what chefs do as well. If you don't have steel, but it's bad, and that's why I said don't use the opposite side of the blade, because you're sharpening it on it like this. But that's so dangerous because you can cut yourself. I don't want to show you the bad tricks, but I've sometimes had to use another knife to sharpen my knife like that. But what I'm saying is you don't want to do that because you're gonna think about safety. Yes. Okay, you guys can take a seat.
Thank you.
Carry on. Thank you. So that is what you do with a steel. A handheld device. This one is just a smaller one. It's got a rough section on it, so you can do rough and edge, and then you've got the finer one, the finer edge, just to refine it nicely. So it actually takes a whole chunk of steel out of your blade. Right, let's continue. Right, you can use a sharpening tool called a steel, that's it. Although most home cooks really use them, because one needs to know exactly how to use it, is if used properly, it might seem as simple as in the animation. However, if done improperly, you can damage the blade. So if you're using a steel and you don't do it correctly, you can actually ruin your knife. So what I'm saying is, the way I showed you, the 40 degree angle works really well, 45 degree angle. Okay, so we said, however it is done improperly, you can damage the blade and yourself. If you are not sure, though, then it is wise to give your knife to a professional that can sharpen it for you. We used to have a guy that used to come around to the hotel, and then he used to just quickly sharpen them, if you're not too sure. Who has the appropriate equipment, tools, and knows how to sharpen knives properly. When my knives really need sharpening, I use a handheld knife sharpener. The cost of one of these is about 150 Rand, so they times that by 2, so that's 300 Rand plus a zero, so it's about 3,000 Naira. How you work rands to Naira, you just take off the zero of the Naira and you divide it into 2, and then that's rands, South African rands. If I'm around, I'll do it for you for nothing. Okay. If I'm around, I'll do it for nothing. The chefs always come to me and say, "Chef, please sharpen my knife." And then I'll have a whole queue of people coming to have their knife sharpened. But I mean, I don't mind. I enjoy it, so all good. Okay, I have a few hand-me-down knives that are about 40 years old, and they can still cut as well as a recently bought one. All it takes is a little bit of respect and care to make your knives last for decades. So even if you inherit a knife from your grandfather, okay, panga even, all good, you can still put a blade on, you can still make it sharp. Some knives won't be able to work for specific jobs, like if you're cutting a big lobster, you'll find a knife like this is not going to be very effective. You'll have to use a panga. When I was in Zanzibar, we had a panga and we had a big stick, and we used to just hit it with a stick through the head, and that's how we used to chop it up. And so a normal chef's knife won't work. Okay. Any questions about the steel? Now you know what it is. 45 degree angle, just tilt it slightly and then just do left to right like that. Sorry? Yes?
The question is, I want to know the name of the steel.
What's the name of the steel? It's just called a steel.
Steel.
It's just called a steel. That's what it is.
Sharpen a knife.
Yes, a steel. It's not to sharpen, it's to keep the edge. The steel will keep the edge. It won't sharpen it. You'll have to use a stone if your edge is gone. You can do all you want. You can try to scrape it, whatever. The thing is, steel needs to come off, and the edge needs to be replaced. You'll find a lot of knives in the kitchen are blunt, and they're dangerous. They're very dangerous. And you think, okay, no, but I've been working with this blunt knife for years. It's good for me. I know how to use it. But in all honesty and sincerity, it is not good. You will, if you get more complicated work, you will definitely hurt yourself. So rather have the sharper the knife, the better. Yes, sir.
When I explain about navigation of the buttons and install the wheel,
Yes.
can I also hold
The blodgett. Blodgett. No. I'm talking. That's that's at the back here. This is called the blodgett. This part of your knife here, where this comes out here, where it protrudes out here. This is called the blodgett. The blodgett. But what I was saying is from head to heel is from the head to the heel. But it's not called the heel. That's called your blodgett. This is a blodgett. See, I always take the knife and face it away from me. Yes. Yes, you can. You know, if you're going to use a machine with a wheel on it, you will find that it's going to wear your blade down very quickly. And you need to be quite skilled with it because you need to get the blade needs to have an angle like that on it. On the actual blade where it's sharp, where you got your edge comes in like that. It's not just flat steel. It's got an edge that comes in. And if you put it on the grindstone, it's going to grind everything away. Unless you're a swordsman and you can and you know how to sharpen swords. But otherwise, just use a stone, a soapstone. The hotel can get a stone for you. You can get a handheld device, and you can also use the steel. Sometimes I'm able to get my edge back, but that's because my knife is quite sharp. That's why you buy your own knife. It's a personalized thing. When you buy your knife, it's sharp. It's razor sharp. And if you look after it, it will stay sharp. Like I said, when you wash it in some lukewarm soapy water, you dry it off with some paper towel, you spray it with some sanitizer, your knife will last you for years and years and years. Okay. So if you look at the picture over there, you can see how they're bringing the knife down to sharpen. Right, how to chop an onion. Do we have an onion here? Do you have an onion? Just bring us one onion. I don't know if anybody else wants to chop an onion, but I'm sure you're going to get lots of time to chop onions. Many years of onions. Onions are my best friend. If you ask me how many onions I've chopped, truckloads full. Okay. Right, how to chop an onion. First, the wrong way to chop an onion. Okay, what they're doing in here is they're showing you a method. Very highly skilled chefs will use this method, and we don't. I don't really follow it. I mean, I do it, but I mean, the way I dice things, I don't need to go to such extremes. But what is the problem there? If you look at that picture, what is the chef doing? He's using the open finger technique because his fingers are open. You can see how they're open, even though they're holding the onion. But what is he doing? He's cutting towards himself. You don't cut towards yourself. Always cut away from yourself. I always see people standing with the thing and cutting like this, peeling here on the chest, and then all the fruits and everything is all over them because they're pure. I mean, that's how they do it. That's how we do it at home. I mean, even it doesn't matter what part of Africa you come from, whether you're in Tanzania or whether you're in Zanzibar or South Africa or Nigeria. I see everybody's always cutting like this towards themselves. It's dangerous. Even peeling carrots like this towards yourself. My mom was peeling carrots one day, and she was cutting also like this towards herself, and she cut her whole thumb off, literally, and they had to sew it back on. So that's what I'm saying. It's really, really dangerous. Don't cut towards yourself. Cut away from yourself. Always cut away. So if you look at this chopping of an onion, it is the most common kitchen task as one of the easiest, assuming you know the right way to do it. Many cooking instructors teach a technique that involves making horizontal cuts in the onion, but trust me, you don't want to do it this way. Not ever. Even if your health insurance premiums are all up to date and you have a team at the Red Cross volunteers standing by to give you blood or transfusion, just don't do it. Why? It's simple. Cutting sideways through an onion towards your own fingers is just ridiculously dangerous, and you will cut yourself badly. Just don't do it. I can give you a practical example of it, but I'm saying just don't do it. It's just not worth it. When I cut the onion for you now, I'll show you how quick and easy it is. You will learn speed as you progress, because you have to practice. That is what it is. You need to start to get speed. That is going to separate you also from the pack. If you don't have speed and you're slow, you're not going to meet your production schedule, and you're not going to be on time. Even if you have hands of titanium, though, there'll still be no reason to cut the onion that way. An onion natural structure already has horizontal cuts in it, so more just a waste of time. But when you consider that the inevitable result of using this technique is to trip to emergency room, honestly, I don't need to mention it. Okay, ready to get started. You place the onion on the side, on the cutting board in front of you, and slice off the top and the bottom. That's called top and tail. Now you will notice my technique I'm also going to use. So what am I doing? Hand always in contact with the surface. That's your surface. Why do I do that? Why do I keep my hand in contact with the surface? If somebody knocks me, just get up here and come bash me. Just knock into me. Okay, you're busy cutting, your knife is very sharp. Just knock me. Knock me again. Look, does my hand move? It doesn't move. My hand is on the table. If your hand is up in the air and somebody knocks you, you can hurt yourself. Okay, you don't need to beat me anymore. Okay. So hand is in contact with the surface. The guys that can't see, you can stand up. So what I've done is I'm now using my open finger technique. Little fingers tucked away. You can stand up if you can't see. Fingers tucked away. Right. I then cut through top and tail. See, in contact with the surface. The knife is always in contact with the surface. Let me just clean it off. So top and tail. It's a very common term. The chef will tell you, go top and tail some green beans for me. Go top and tail the carrots. Go top and tail the watermelon. Top and tail the pineapple. Top and tail the onions. Top and tail the lemon. Top and tail is a very common term. I'm in trouble already because I'm using a blue cutting board for onions. Whoa, I'm in trouble. Cross-contamination. Okay, we'll swap it quickly. We don't want to do it incorrectly. But I already failed now. Because when you cut your fish is on here, now you're cutting your veg. Now my onion is contaminated with fish juices. Well done. Okay, I'm not facilitating very well today. Sorry about that. Okay, so you cut your onion in half. I'm just going to go through some of the terminologies as well. There are other slideshow presentations like this that go into more detail. I can show you briefly once we've gone through this one. But I've just cut the onion in half. When going to work with one half of the onion at a time, peel the skins off, which I did, and then we're going to start cutting. So what you do is you put your onion, you cut like that. Okay, keep it in contact with the surface. But as you get more experience, you can start to. So you don't need to do that other method. Keep it in contact with the surface, thumb tucked away, and this is your guiding hand. Remember to guide your vegetables. You just keep going. Keep it nice and fine. Sometimes when I cut onions, the one that's next to me starts crying. So that's just dicing it up. You will notice you will start to smell more like an onion every day as a chef, because that's a natural smell for a chef is to smell like an onion. So you just carry on from there. Okay, you can cut counterwise, crosswise, After you cut the onion in half, we'll just move on. Keep trimming it away towards the outer edges of the onion, letting those natural cubes fall into cutting board, and be careful when you get to the end because there's not much room for your fingers. You notice I pulled my fingers in and started chopping, and pull my fingers in again. So you can chop, but your fingers will be in line with the blade, so you won't cut your fingers if you tuck them in. That's the bent finger technique. Okay. Let's just move on to the next one. Okay, as you can see, made quick work of the onion, not just do one inventory fingers and you've got all the ones started with and you've done. That's it. Right, safe handling. We're going to continue. Right, what do you never do? Catch a falling knife. So I've got an expensive knife. It cost me a fortune. It cost a fortune. It cost me like a whole month's salary. And now suddenly my knife's going to fall on the floor. You don't stick your foot out. You don't stick your foot out to try to stop it. You'll just have to let your knife fall. You don't kick it because it might go into your associate that you're working with. Instead, step back and avoid it, no matter how expensive, just let it fall on the ground. It's quite sad. Work always with sharp knives. In most cases, it's the blunt knife that will cut you, not the sharp one. Counterpoints, right? When the knife is in use, its placement on the counter is of utmost importance. Place the knife flat on the counter when the point facing away from the user, like what I've just demonstrated there. Never allow cloths or objects to obstruct your view of your blade. Okay, so if you're going to have cloths on the table, don't let the cloths be over your knife, because you might just quickly move your hand through there and then you get injured. All right, watch your step. Okay, when walking with a knife, I'm going to demonstrate how to walk with a knife. What are the passing protocols of a knife? There's certain protocol, because you can't walk around the kitchen with a knife and you're not knowing how to walk properly. If somebody's horse playing, you don't allow horseplay in the kitchen, but maybe somebody's playing around, they're joking, they're being childish, and they fall on your knife because you're not walking properly with your knife. So I'm going to show you that. Don't take your knife and flash it all over the way and look like a samurai. Okay, I can put on a show for you. I can show you swordsmanship, and I'm quite good with a sword and with a knife, but I won't do that in the kitchen. Okay. When walking with your knife, never walk with its blade stretched before you. Hold the knife handle at your side with the blade pointing towards the floor. Okay, so you're going to walk, the knife is down, and you walk like that with your knife here. You don't walk with your knife like this, okay, because somebody's going to go into your blade. You keep it down. There is another way of doing it. I sometimes do it like this. I hold it this way, and I keep it like that. And I keep my knife tucked here, but I'm going to walk like that. So I don't want to. But this could also be dangerous if it stabs into you. But I mean, if you're walking, nobody's going to go into my knife. But this is the correct way to do it. Okay. You walk the knife flat down. You don't want to be held up for murder. Right. Any questions on that? Okay, carry a knife pointing down to the floor. This way, if you bump into somebody, no one will get hurt. We're going to go quickly through this one. Okay, passing protocol. Very important. When you pass your knife, there's a certain protocol. I'm going to demonstrate that to you. Extend the knife towards the other person while gripping the baluster. The baluster is the piece of the handle that meets the blade. The point should be facing you at your side. Do not release the grip until the receiver says thank you. So very important, like when you're in a relationship with somebody and you love them and you want to marry them, what do? You look them in the eye, right? Yeah. So same with the knife passing when you pass the knife to somebody else. So what you're going to do is, I'm going to pass you the knife, but watch how I do it. Come stand here. Okay? So I'm going to pass you the knife. So I'm going to say, I'm going to pass you the knife. But I'm keeping eye contact with you. When I give you the knife, just say thank you to me. I'm taking the knife, I'm holding it like this. Okay? The baluster is here. Okay? I'm holding the baluster. But I'm not holding it like this, I'm holding it like this. I don't want to cut my fingers on there. And I'm holding the knife towards myself. I'm not going to pass the knife like this because then they're going to grab the blade. You don't want it. So you hold the knife this way. So I'm passing you the knife.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Okay, here we go. That's how it's done. Right. Thank you. You only release it when they say thank you. Okay, you pass to me. Oh, you're dangerous, mate. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right, so that's how it's done. So always practice safe knife handling. You definitely don't want to injure somebody. Right, let's have a look at sharp storing tips. Never store a loose, uncovered knife in the drawer. You know, at home we throw our knives in the drawer, but if you leave them in the drawer like that, they can rattle around, they can scrape against each other, and it can cause them to go blunt. Knives should be sheathed if stored in a drawer. Kershaw offers, Kershaw is a type of knife make, Kershaw, and they offer recommendations for using blade savers, durable plastic sheets that protect both your blade and your fingers. You can also maybe get a sheath made out of leather. I mean, I've never seen chefs really walk around, but in some instances I've seen chefs make their own little sheaths out of a piece of box, and they've put plastic wrap around it and everything, but they've put it in a sheath. I've just got a simple knife bag that I keep my knives in. Okay, my knives, there are not many left, but that's how it looks. It's a little bit of a mess. My office rained, the pipes burst and the water came down, so my knife bag's a little bit dirty, but it's just got a cover. Your knives go in there, and then you can store them nicely and safely. Right. Okay, make sure you use only a clean and sanitized knives. So when you're about to use your knife, I always, even there where we are at 4 Points, we use a multi-purpose cleaner, and then we've got some sanitizer. It is your right to have it, okay? I say it's like a human right. A human right is to, if you're going to provide safe food, and because of the microbiological organisms and the bacteria, you want to be able to clean, but after you've cleaned with the multi-purpose cleaner, there's still bacteria. Then you want to spray your sanitizer, and you don't wipe the sanitizer, you let it dry on its own. So you spray your sanitizer in your knife. It's not going to affect your food, it's not going to affect anything. But then your knife is nice and clean. But I would encourage you to get your own knife. Even if for now, as a starter, you don't maybe need to necessarily get a Victoria Chef's knife or whatever, or a Kershaw or a Verstorff knife or whatever, because they are expensive. But maybe you go to the convenience store and you buy yourself a little paring knife, and you buy yourself a cook's knife. And then that's your own personal knife. You don't let other people use it, because they're going to make it blunt, and then when you need to do a serious job, you can't, because now your knife is blunt. So that, it's a personal thing, it's your thing. It's like when you get married. That's why I used to say when I was younger, I used to get quite aggressive if somebody has taken my knife. Quite aggressive. The chefs used to get very scared of me, because I'll just go and prick one guy in the bum. And he was like, "What?" I'm like, "Give me my knife. It's not your knife." Okay, I've calmed down a lot now, so I don't do that anymore. But especially when you've worked hard for your knife. So use sanitizer on your knife. Cut with your fingers folded, the opposite direction of the blade. What technique is that chef using there? What technique? Open finger technique. Yes, you've got open finger and you've got bent finger technique. Right. Good. What is the other name for that hand of open finger and bent finger. What is the other name for that hand? It's called the guiding hand. It guides to the blade. Okay, so you're busy chopping, so it's your guiding hand, and you've got two techniques, open finger and bent finger techniques. I always say go like this, bend your fingers, and then you've got this one is your open, that's on your bent one. Open finger, bent finger technique. Okay, conclusion. So how do we feel about what we've learned? Do we feel good? Have we learned something? Okay, a little bit more understanding. Do you think you can handle a knife now?
Yes.
Good. And you know how to chop an onion?
Yes.
Good. Most important when working with your knife or making food is to smile and enjoy what you are doing and put a little bit of love into it. That's my little secret. And I think it must become your secret too. A little bit of love goes a long way. If you don't love what you're doing, then why do it? Nothing gives you greater satisfaction and happiness in your working environment when you enjoy what you do. You love what you do. And that's what it is. Chefing is love. I say it's love. If you don't have love, sorry, then you're in the wrong profession. Then you must be a lawyer. Okay. Right, I've got some other slideshow presentations. I'm going to go very quickly through them because there's so much content. Just cooking. Chefing, you need to try to become computer literate. So if you have a look there, these are my documents. Does it look like much? I'm moving the folders over. Okay, so I've got 585. It's not so difficult to use a computer. It isn't, and don't be intimidated by it, because that will help to elevate you, to push you forward. If you're going to just stay in, like I said to you guys when I first met you, was if you're going to stay in the cold kitchen as a salad lady and you're just going to be salad lady, then that's where you're going to stay, and your salary will stay as a salad lady. You need to be ambitious. You need to work in all the departments. You're going to say, yes, chef, I'm finished, I'm ready to start. I'm finished, I start. You never stop. You never finish. You always start. And that is what's going to drive you forward. You need to fulfill a couple of tasks. You need to do food safety. You can write it down. Food safety is important in every single kitchen. You guys are talking about HACCP. I'm going to show you what HACCP looks like. All right. I implemented a HACCP plan and got 2 hospitals HACCP certified in South Africa, Cape Town. There were mediclinics, it's hospitals. So it was mandatory for them to be HACCP certified. I'm going to show you some standardized recipes quickly. Toolbox talks first. Toolbox talks. Toolbox training. Wow. Okay, basic hygiene. I've got a slideshow presentation. So the toolbox talks is something that you would use as a chef. If you're a senior chef, you're going to want to train your guys. Just want to go back here, training. You've got things that's called environmental policy and a occupational health and safety policy. And there's also a thing in South Africa, it's called SANS 918. Occupational health and safety and SANS 918 is the law. If you produce food for somebody and you make them sick, you will be liable to court and you can even be prison sentenced. And what companies do is they try to protect you and they try to protect their name. That's why they put food safety in place. And there's a whole lot of documents that you need to fill in. And that is called your traceability. That is how, like what Daniel was saying to you about HACCP, there needs to be a verification. How do you verify that you are doing your job correctly? Is through the traceability of your documents, your policies, your procedures that you do. And those policies and procedures will protect you. So when somebody says, I've got food poisoning, I'm sick, There's a difference between food poisoning and food-borne illness. And people need to be educated about that, because food poisoning, number one, will put you straight into hospital. You will have to go onto intravenous drip. You'll have to get resuscitated. I don't know. You're going to be you'll basically die. But food-borne illness is something that you can get when something is spoiled. But food poisoning is something different. I've got some thing on food poisoning. It's a scientific sort of analysis of and the difference between the two. And that is how we come in as chefs, is also to educate our guests. Because somebody will say, you poisoned me. It's like saying, you murdered me. But now, you need to prove that I murdered you, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, you won't be here, so you won't be able to prove it. But there's a set of documents that come into place. And you will find when you work in a hotel environment, or you work in a HACCP environment, there's documents that you need. The HACCP certification is about 96 or 98 sets of quality assurance documents. It's called Q&A. Q&A, not question and answer. Q&A is quality assurance. And each of those quality assurance will fall into a specific area where you need to verify that the job that you're doing, you're verifying it through your documentation, your traceability. They will be able to trace your performance through your documents. That's what I say. 60% of the audit is documents, and the other 40% is the cleanliness, how you pack, date, wrap, clean your surfaces, sanitize, hand swabs, all those things to go and do the microbiological testing on it through a microscope to see if there's any bacteria, if there's any coliforms. Coliforms is also like Staphylococcus bacteria, E. coli. If you don't wash your hands, you get E. coli. E. coli is through feces. And what happens is, if you haven't washed your hands, you touch your private parts, you're now touching the food, those bacteria will be transferred onto your food. And what happens is when they do an audit, they can trace it right back to you in the cold kitchen, you didn't wash your hands. And that's how it is. In South Africa, they're very strict like that. So we have auditors that come in. Even at 4 Points, we have government auditors every month. They come in, they take food retention samples, they do hand swabs on the chefs. So far, since I've been here in Nigeria now at 4 Points for 6 months, almost 7 months, we've had no issues of any type of coliforms or any type of bacteria or nothing. And we get audited, hands down. They come, it's a surprise. You don't know when they're coming, but they're coming. And then they will do the swabs. You will need to get yourself a laptop. It's a good investment, because all your things that you need to elevate yourself as a chef is going to also be on the computer. Your planning, your production schedules, your costings, your standardized recipes. So you're going to take photos of food, the way the plate's going to look, and then you're going to make a recipe for me. I'm going to show you a few slides now of some of the things that we spoke about. And then you will understand the bigger picture. You'll see the bigger picture of it. It's huge. It's massive. So it's not just cooking. Chefing is a lot more intricate, a lot more detailed. There's a lot of administrative stuff. You need to know how much your food's going to cost. So you need to do costings. How are you going to become profitable if you don't know how much to sell the food for? So I will show you some costing sheets. With the costing sheets, you will notice that you can do theoretical projections. So it's only in theory. Once you've got your costing sheet, I like to share my information. If you guys had memory sticks, I'll take it and I'll give you a whole lot of recipes and a whole lot of stuff, because I want you to grow. I've already done it, so all I can do is share what I've got. So who knows? Maybe we can arrange that. I don't know. Maybe make a little pack together. If you can get a memory stick, then you can put your CV on your memory stick. You can put your certificates on your memory stick. So that's why the computer is important. Not only for your CV, but for your costings, for your recipes, for your food safety, for your training documents, for your capex, your budget. When you get deeper into it, you need to do a budget for the hotel. How much are you going to spend? How much money does the kitchen need? Do we need equipment? How much money? I need to get quotes on the equipment. What needs to be replaced? All those things. How much oil do we use? How much? You need to know what it is. So if you don't have a computer and you can't do it, and you're just going to be in the cold kitchen, making salads, you're never going to grow. So my advice to you is, maybe not now, but in the future, try and invest in a little laptop. It doesn't need to be expensive. And besides using it for your own personal good, to watch movies and all the rest of it that you want to do, but you can also have your work on there. So that's very important. So I'll just show you a quick, this is an environmental policy. It's called Handle and Store Food Part 2 Unit Standard 7748. Facilitator, Wayne Kingsley. I was regional chef at the time, running all the provinces in South Africa, flying all over the show, and going to train the professional cookery certificate. So what I did was I took the professional cookery certificate and I made new documents like this with the unit standard, and that became my accredited training. And there's a whole lot of them. There's how to prepare and cook vegetables, how to prepare and cook meat, how to prepare and make sandwiches, how to prepare and cook poultry, how to truss, what's the different cuts, steak, dawn, popiettes. There's so many names. And in the facilitation of the cookery certificate, when you become qualified, you do a certificate, it takes a year. When you become doing the chef's diploma, it takes 3 years. So I can facilitate both, the diploma and the certificate. I'm an accredited trainer, and I've got certificates also of the groups of people that I've trained. So training is very important, and you will be able to get documents. Toolbox talks that you do 15 minutes every week. You're the senior chef now. You running the department in the kitchen. You need toolbox talks. We're going to talk about hand washing today, or we're going to talk about tuberculosis or AIDS or anything. But you need to do training with your staff. That's very important. I specialize in training, but I've got a long way to go with my team. And I have a lot of training to do with them, but I haven't just got there yet. We're only coming out of lockdown. So I know it's an excuse, but I shouldn't be making excuses. I should just do it. But it's just so busy. I don't have time right now. But I would like to do a lot of training. So training documents, I'm going to show you HACCP. You want to see what HACCP looks like?
Yes,
Okay, HACCP. Let's go to HACCP. HACCP, my best friend. Okay, HACCP. HACCP. Into HACCP. You will see how vast HACCP is. It's called GMPs, Good Manufacturing Practices. There's HACCP. Let me just change the view. Detail list. There we go. You see how many documents? It is 162. So it says Q&A 1, Daily Hygiene Inspection Sheet. Q&A 1, Q&A 2, incoming raw materials. You need to, even without HACCP, some companies call themselves HACCP friendly, but not HACCP certified. HACCP certified, you need to follow through with all these documents. Let me just show you how big it is. Now I've implemented all of this, so it's really tough. And when the auditors come, they come and audit you. If you haven't done your dockets and your traceability, they'll take your HACCP certification away. And you don't want that. The company spend a lot of money to do training with the staff and to develop the staff to be able to use the documents and the procedures. And that is how they measure your performance. So just going to the HACCP documents, I'm just going to go quickly through them. Then we'll have a look at some standardized recipes. Like I said, if you've got a memory stick, I would have given you stuff now. Then you would have them for your own, or yours. I'll give it to you as a gift. It's too big. You need to just get a small memory stick. Look, we're having, I take it, I'll speak with the big boss of the boss. But, when we get together, maybe, some of you have my cards. You must just make contact with me. I am still in Nigeria, God willing, still another year and a half. A year and a half, yeah. So probably not next year, June, but the year after that, June. Then my time's up, but I might stay longer. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get that far. I can only see as far as today. So, but I would like to share some of my stuff because, I mean, I've already done these things and I think it can enrich other people's lives. I've given lots of my chefs, I said, here's recipes, here's costing sheets, here's food safety documents, here's standardized recipes, here's toolbox training. You do with it what you want to do with it. You elevate it, you make it your own, and you can do your costings for your business. You can work out how profitable you're going to become. It's very easy. I'll show you just briefly. That's why I say there's a lot of content. I know you guys had a heavy day today, but it's important. The little bit of time that you have with me, try to get as much knowledge out of me as you can. Okay, so we just go quickly through it. So you've got a daily hygiene inspection sheet, incoming raw materials. When your products come in, there's a checklist. I'll just open this one for you. Incoming raw materials checklist. So all of these documents are like this. It is, Royal Sechaba was a company that I worked for. It used to be Royal Food Services. I worked with this company for about 11 years. It just gives you the scope, the purpose, the storage procedures, and then it actually gives you the document that you use. So incoming raw materials, the whole process of what it is, and then there's a incoming raw materials checklist. Then there's also how can I say, a finished products dispatch list. So when you finish making products, especially like when I worked at Sun City, I mean, I worked at a lot of places, but I had to implement the processes. And now the driver comes, he's got to send food for 5,000 people. There needs to be a dispatch list, a checklist, so that how much of the product, what was the temperature, and everything, and then it gets delivered, and then they have to sign it, they have to do the product checks, they have to do everything. This incoming raw materials checklist, you'll see in Nigeria, we do follow these. There, if I look at the food safety documents, some of them are still, I won't say in their infancy, but they could be more elaborated on. But you don't need to get so technical and so advanced about it. But if you do in HACCP, it's advanced. So if you look at this incoming raw material, it says date, the supplier. When the suppliers come in at the hotel, I say, okay, let me have a look at your vehicle. I'm doing a vehicle check. You'll see the paint is flaked, there's blood all over the place, the stuff isn't wrapped, some of the tins are dented. You're going to identify what those things are. Now, when these guys saw me coming, they were like, what? What are you talking about, chef? I said, no, if you don't clean your vehicle up again, and you come like this again, I won't accept this food, I'll send you away. So when you come here to me, you make sure your vehicle is clean. You wipe all that paint off there, you clean out all the blood, you make sure your things are wrapped. If there's any dented tins or anything, I'm not accepting it. Okay. And if I do a product check and I see that the temperatures aren't correct either, I'm going to send it. I'm also checking for the expiry date on it, because I'll come and I say, here we go, and it came from Britain or wherever, Europe or wherever it came from, but the expiry date's in 1 month's time. And then they just load a whole lot of stock on you because you don't know, you just check. But if you've got a checklist like this, and you've got the processes in place, most hotels have these. 4 Points is very strict like that. We have our checklists in place. We have our incoming raw materials. Why do you do these documents? Okay, it's in line with HACCP, because if you look at the HACCP documents, there's many. There's so many. We just look again quickly. Purchasing policy, HACCP variance report, daily hygiene audits, thawing out procedure. So when we're cooking today for 2 days' time. We're cooking for today, prepping today for tomorrow, for the next day. We're not cooking today for today. And that's what happens here. It happens at a lot of places. It's not only in Nigeria. All over Africa, they work like that. But now you need the chef to come and show you how to work smarter, not harder. You want to have a cup of tea. You want to breathe. You want to relax. It's a busy job. It's stressful. But if you don't plan yourself, you're going to run yourself into trouble, and you're going to be stressed, and you're going to panic, and you're going to try to get the job done. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. You have to plan. Plan in advance. Take the chicken, take the bacon, take the stuff out today, put it in the fridge, use a thawing out procedure, fill it in, what the temperature was when it came out of the freezer, and then when you take it in a day or 2 days' time, it's soft, and then you check the temperature again, and then you can do your cooking process. and then it makes your life easier. Instead of putting your hands in the frozen water, trying to break the chicken, and then 700 people that need to eat, and all the chicken is frozen, the butcher can't chop it, it's all frozen, it becomes stressful. So thawing out sheet is something that we need to do. But you're a wonderful bunch. I wish I could work with all of you, because you look so great, you look so disciplined, you're attentive, you're polite, you're friendly, you listen, you're respectful. I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay, what I want to tell my fellow housemates in the house, I knew I was a strong contender. I was a voice in the house. A lot of them looked up to me. I want to tell them I'm still with them in the spirit. Like the master chef will always say, that he's seeing everything. I think I will be online. I'll be seeing everything. I'll be watching on them. I urge them to behave themselves, to be the best chefs they will be, and then play their games very well. Well, the Niger Best Chef reality TV show for me, it's a beautiful show. I believe a lots of talent will be brought out from here. While in the house, I saw lots of talent. A lot of young chefs will really come up from this reality TV show. A lot of brands will grow from here. It's a very good one. It's a very nice one, and we look forward to the next edition. As ambassadors of this reality TV show, we'll try to do our best to make sure it gets better and bigger. Okay, my words to my fans out. I'm so sorry. I know a lot of you will not be happy. I didn't let you know I was up for eviction. But thank you very much. Bringing me to the house was beautiful. It was awesome. I had an awesome experience. You guys made it happen. Thank you very much. But just sit back, get back to that YouTube channel, get back to that Instagram page, and then see what your boy is made of. Thank you.
You are not entitled to contest anymore. We must learn in our nation how to transcend power to others without holding on to power forever. This is what this thing teaches. My words are not contestable. At the sound of my God, I display the search should begin immediately. Listen, keep it.
Now it's me, oh.
Surround the center table. Silent.